We've got you covered. This is News 4 Tucson.
Breaking down Arizona women's basketball, the Wildcats lose in Boulder. Let's talk about it. I'm joined on the phone by Derrick Palmer. He is the radio play-by-play voice of Arizona women's basketball. And Derrick, the big question on everybody's mind, how's Aari McDonald?
Well, she's just day-to-day. She's dealing with a lower leg injury, and they're just playing it day-to-day. So that's all that anybody really knows at this point.
All right, day-to-day, fair enough. Now, what did you see with this team without Aari this past weekend?
Well, they showed an awful lot of great offense against Utah on Friday, and it's difficult to say why that was not around on Sunday against Colorado. The Buffaloes play a really aggressive style on both ends of the floor. That probably had something to do with it. They, of course, are playing their second game in 48 hours in elevation. I know Coach Barnes would disagree with that, but I'm sure that had something else to do with it. But, I mean, you've really got to tip the hat to the Buffs because they came out and played a pretty strong defensive game today.
Derrick, what happened in the last 6.5 minutes? The Cats went 0 for 10 from the floor and were outscored 15-0 down the stretch.
Well, starting with Colorado, they really came out in the fourth quarter and were really trying to get to the offensive glass. They got their first, or two of their first three, or three of their first four buckets by getting to the offensive glass. So that I think was really the thing that turned the page for them offensively. But on the defensive side, Coach Barnes said she just didn't like her team's approach. Didn't think that they came in with enough strength, especially underneath the basket.
Yeah, 7 of those 10 shots were three-pointers. The good news, though, is that Arizona State also lost on Sunday to Utah, so the Wildcats will finish no worse than 4th in the Pac-12, which means a first-round bye in Las Vegas, and they could, over these last 2 games, even improve that position.
Yeah, they got Stanford on Friday, beg your pardon. So, and that's a big one because they're only going to play the Cardinal once this year, so whoever wins that one's going to get the tiebreaker. It's unfortunate that they couldn't get the sweep, because then that would have really set it up. It should, as many people expect, Oregon win in Maples tomorrow. But now with a little bit of help, as we've seen this an awful lot this year, you get 2 very physical matchups when you come through the state of Arizona. So if Arizona State is able to knock off Stanford and the Wildcats win on Friday, then number 3 is certainly within the realm of the possibility. Also, UCLA losing at Washington today opens up some other possibilities, but that one is going to involve more tiebreakers. But there's still a little bit of northward movement potentially for the Cats.
All right, Derrick, before I let you go, I want to circle back to Aari McDonald. A couple of WNBA mock drafts came out last week. ESPN first round, McDonald not projected to be drafted. The AP put out a 2-round mock with no Aari McDonald. Do you think that means that Aari will return to Arizona to play her senior season?
I know that I and everybody who follows the program would love to see her back.
And there you go. That's a pretty concise answer right there. Derrick Palmer, he is the radio voice of the Arizona women's basketball program. Derrick, I appreciate you joining us for a little Wildcat Breakdown.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, the Wildcats are going to wrap up the regular season with home games this Friday against Stanford and California. Stay with us here at News 4 Tucson for continuing coverage of Arizona women's basketball.